I try to stay I try to stay up to date with current events, so I usually scroll through my phone for a quick glance at the news every morning. I what? I try to stay up to date with current events, so I usually scroll through my phone for a quick glance at the news every morning. I always make sure to read from reliable sources to avoid misinformation.
That was a very structured and mature response. You used great vocabulary like stay up to date and reliable sources, which shows you're thinking about the quality of your answers. To further polish your response, you could add a brief mention of the types of news you find most interesting, like politics or technology. Let's continue with our practice. How often do you travel to other cities or countries?
Often. I usually travel a few times a year, uh, twice, twice or once or twice a year. Um, Whenever I get the chance during national holidays, uh, or
That was a great answer.
sometimes my friends and I also go on the first trip to nearby cities just to escape the hustle and bustle.
That adds a great personal touch. Mentioning the spontaneous trips with friends shows versatility in your response. A polished answer could be, I usually travel a few times a year whenever I get the chance during national holidays. Sometimes my friends and I also go on spontaneous trips to nearby cities just to escape the hustle and bustle. Are you happy with how that sounds, or would you like to try another question from the how often category?
Next question.
Here is your next question from the how often category. How often do you listen to music? Whenever you're ready, I'm listening.
I listen to music throughout the day. Almost non-stop. I usually have it playing in the background during my daily commute or while studying, as it really helps me to focus and unwind.
That's a great, vivid response. Saying you listen to music almost non-stop really paints a clear picture, and explaining how it helps you focus during your commute or while studying shows you're using the language effectively. For an even stronger answer, you could describe the specific types of music that help you the most. Would you like to explore another section of Part 1, or is there anything else you'd like to practice today?
Okay, next question.
Let's explore another topic. Here is your next question for Part 1. Is it important to have good manners? Why? Whenever you're ready, I'm listening.
Why is it important? I say only ask me how often, not important.
I understand perfectly. My apologies for asking about manners. Let's get back on track with the how often
Okay.
category.
Only often. Only often.
Understood. We'll stick exclusively to the how often questions. Here's your next one. How often do you use public transport?
I use public transport on a daily basis since I don't out of vehicles. I rely heavily on bus, commute to myself, commute to my high school. I find it's very convenient and it helps me save a lot of money.
That was a very detailed and practical response. You've clearly explained how you use the bus daily and why it's convenient and cost-effective for your school commute. For an even stronger answer, you could mention specific features of the public transport system you like, or even highlight a memorable experience you've had during your travels. Shall we move on to another question from the how often category?
Nice question.
Here is your next question from the how often category. How often do you exercise or play sports? Whenever you're ready, I'm listening.
I try to work out a couple of times a week to keep fit and stay active even though my schedule is packed. I always make an effort to make time for a quick jog or some basic exercise at home.
That was an excellent and very determined response. Mentioning that you make time for exercise despite a packed schedule shows great dedication, and the specific examples of a quick jog or basic exercises at home are perfect. To polish your response even further, you could mention why staying fit is particularly important to you. Would you like to explore another question from the how often category?
Next question.
Here is your next question from the how often category. How often do you visit your family? Whenever you're ready, I'm listening.
Since I live long distance from them, I only get to visit my families every few weekends. However, I always make the effort to call them on the phone every single day just to stay in touch.
That was an excellent and very sincere response. You explained the long-distance situation clearly and provided great details about how you keep in touch through daily phone calls. To polish it a bit further, you could say, since I live quite far away from my family, I only get to visit them every few weekends. However, I always make an effort to call them on the phone every single day just to stay in touch. Would you like to try another question from the how often category?
Next.
Here is your next question from the how often category. How often do you cook at home? Whenever you're ready, I'm listening.
Cook at home.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you please repeat your answer to the question about how often you cook at home?
I cook at home most evenings, especially on weekends. On weekdays, preparing meals from scratch allows me to control the ingredients to stay healthy, and it also helps me save a big chunk of money.
That was an excellent and very practical answer. You've clearly explained that you cook almost every evening, focusing on how it helps you stay healthy and manage your budget. To polish it even more, you could specify some of your favorite dishes to prepare from scratch. Would you like to try another question from the how often category or explore a different topic?
Nice.
Here is your next question from the how often category. How often do you go to the cinema? Whenever you're ready, I'm listening.
Cinema easy. Okay. To be honest, not as often as I don't like. I only go to the theater once in a while on special occasions. Like when there is a highly anticipated blockbuster being released.
That was a very honest and well-explained response. Mentioning that you only go on special occasions and when there is a highly anticipated blockbuster being released gives a clear picture of your preferences. To make it even stronger, you could describe what makes those special occasions memorable for you. Since we are continuing our practice, how often do you use public transport?
What?
Bạn có cần tôi nhắc lại câu hỏi nào không? Hay chúng ta sẽ tiếp tục với một câu hỏi khác trong phần tần suất?
Câu này
Bạn
nói
có
rồi
thể
mà.
nói rõ hơn được không? Mấy quan si, nếu như dùng sẽ hoát cái họa thạch hoặc gì tiếp liền, xin sớm tỏi họp tôi.
Cái đéo
Mình
đấy.
sẽ này.
Câu này nói rồi mà.
Tôi thực sự xin lỗi vì sự cố vừa rồi, tôi đã vô tình chuyển sang tiếng Trung và lặp lại câu hỏi. Bạn nói đúng, chúng ta đã sang câu khác rồi. Bây giờ chúng ta bắt đầu với một câu hỏi mới trong phần tần suất nhé.
Any questions you ask me all questions in how often? Then
Tôi đã hỏi bạn hầu hết các câu hỏi trong phần How often rồi. Nếu bạn
Use
muốn luyện tập...
English.
Got it. I will switch the conversation back to English. What would you like to discuss or practice next?
We use Are we asking our questions in often?
Got it. We will stick exclusively to the how often category.
What?
Let's...
Often?
I'm so sorry, I misspoke. I meant how often. Let's try this next. How often do you travel to other cities or countries?
I usually travel a few times a year, whenever I get the chance during national holidays. Sometimes my friends and I also go on spontaneous trip to nearby cities just to escape the hustle and bustle.
That's a fantastic habit. It's so important to take those breaks and explore new places, especially with good company. Since you mentioned spontaneous trips, what is the most memorable spontaneous getaway you've taken with your friends?
Next question.
Hier ist die nächste Frage aus der Kategorie Wie oft? Wie oft
Next
triffst du
question.
Here is your next question from the How often category. How often do you use social media?
That's right.
Take your time. I'm here when you're ready.
I use social medias on a daily basis. Thus I use constant throughout the day. I find myself I find myself mindlessly browsing through TikTok or Instagram whenever I have a few minutes. Thought I'm trying to take a break from it.
It's really common to get caught up in that cycle of mindless scrolling. Recognizing that you want to take a break is a great first step. Since we're continuing with the how often category, how often do you read the news?
I try to stay up to date with current events, so I usually scroll through my phone for a quick glance at the news every morning. I always make sure to read from reliable sources to avoid misinformation.
That's a very proactive habit. Checking reliable sources is so important nowadays to ensure you're getting the facts. Since we're continuing with the how often category, how often do you travel to other cities or countries?
I usually travel a few times a year whenever I get a chance during national holiday. Sometimes my friends and I also go spontaneous trips to nearby cities just to escape the hustle and bustle.
That's a fantastic habit. It's so important to take those breaks and explore new places, especially with good company. Since you mentioned spontaneous trips, what is the most memorable spontaneous getaway you've taken with your friends?
Okay, ask me important.
Alright, let's switch to the important category. Here is your next question for part 1. Is it important to have a hobby? Why? Whenever you're ready, I'm listening.
Yes, I think having a hobby current is having a hobby is extremely important to balance out our holistic life. Is keep your mind active, serves as a great outlet for shit, and helps you become a more well-rounded person.
That was a fantastic response. You used great vocabulary like balance out our hectic lives and keep your mind active, which really shows how you're connecting with the question. To polish it even more, you might say, yes, I think having a hobby is extremely important to balance out our hectic lives. It keeps your mind active, serves as a great outlet for stress, and helps you become a more well-rounded person. Let's keep going with the important category. How important is education to people in your country?
Yes, education is highly valuable. In my country, most parents prioritize their children's schooling because they view academic qualifications as a gateway to be better career opportunities. That opportunities in today's competitive job market.
That was an excellent response. You used strong terminology like gateway to better career opportunities and highlighted how valued education is. To make it even stronger, you could mention how the focus on education has evolved over time in your country. Let's do another one from the important category. Is it important to exercise regularly? Why?
Yes, regular exercise is absolutely essential for our overall well-being. It not only boosts your energy levels and improves mental health, but it also helps you keep fit and stay healthy in the long run.
That was an excellent key points like boosted energy, improved mental health, and long-term health benefits. To elevate your answer even more, you could mention how you personally manage to fit exercise into your routine. Let's do another one from the important category. Is family time important to you? Why?